Let me tell you about the small agency trap. I've been running a software development agency for the past 3 years. I have started to see something that has been blocking my growth for a little while now. This is basically the fact that you need to focus on a specific service, otherwise you'll be too distracted in order to scale. What I mean by this is recently, I've had a couple projects, and as a development company, we don't just provide developers, we help our clients build stuff. So I'm very on hand about it. And I think a lot of agency owners tend to fall into this trap where basically you start scaling and you get these different kinds of clients and you're very involved at every step of the way. And what ends up happening is you are so involved on every single project. If you were to scale this way of doing business, it is going to fall apart because you're going to need to be on loads of meetings where you not only have to do the work that you promised them to fulfill on the actual development or whatever it is that you do, but you have to act as a stakeholder, right? You have to advise your clients on how to build stuff. This is something that comes with a software development agency, but it comes with design and all sorts of things. You're going to start needing project managers if you want to scale that model. And when you hire project managers and you have developers, your prices are going to need to be way higher because you're just not going to have enough margin. And so you need to make room in your prices to hire the project managers and the development team. That's one of the scaled agency models that people run. But at a small agency, it's very, very hard because usually to get to those kinds of prices takes some time. And to get good project managers is hard. It's not easy to hire good staff and good developers and do it all at a reasonable enough price. And so it is my belief that the main solution to this is productizing in a specific direction. So when I say productize, it doesn't mean to build a specific product necessarily, but it means to focus on a specific problem that you have a specific skill set around. So you at your agency or you yourself, let's say you're really good at a specific subset of access management, right? So I am access management. You're really, really good at that. And you just do that. And you teach your team to just do that, and then you guys solve problems just around that. It's going to be way easier because every client will be a lot more similar, and so the questions you get are going to be the same, and you have the answers there. And then you can start to answer their questions as FAQs on videos. You can produce content around that. You can help educate them. It is marvelous when you focus on one thing. It is very hard to scale when you don't focus on one thing, because even if you gave me 5 more leads that are similar to the current projects that I have, bear in mind, in my industry in software development, I take on 2 to 3 projects at a time and I do them very well, but it's low volume and high ticket. That's how we make our money. But if you gave me 5 more projects like this, I'd make 100 grand a month, but I would be stressed out of my mind and things would probably fall apart relatively quickly because the questions from each client are going to be so different. The responsibilities from each client are so different. And the only way that I will ever solve that problem is by focusing on one specific problem to solve. You can focus on a problem that you solve through a service. You could focus on a problem that you solve through a product as well, which is actually a road that I'm exploring nowadays, and I've spoken recently on other videos. But this is this trap that small agencies fall into. They're struggling to scale and they don't realize why. It's because if you don't get specific about what you're doing, it's going to be really hard to scale that offer because every single client will have such different questions for you. And that becomes very difficult. Now, if you're more specialized, it becomes easier because you start to be able to predict the client questions and you can train your staff on whatever skill set that you have, right? So that's kind of the way that consulting works. If you go to big consultancies, they have lots of little consulting firms within that, right? So there's strategy consulting, management consulting, etc. People are specialized in different parts of the business. And so you don't run a business by doing 1,000 different services when your team is like 5 people. It doesn't work at scale. It breaks down. You need to get clear about what you solve because it'll make it way easier for you to scale your fulfillment as well as your marketing. At the end of the day, it's really hard to market an offer that's too broad, but the broader your service is, the harder it will be to fulfill on. This is an underrated lesson. Just think about it. If you do 10 different things, it's so much more complicated to fulfill every single one of those. When you're a small company, having less to fulfill on will make your life way easier and it'll make your business way more profitable. Because when you just do one thing, you get good at doing that one thing and you can do it better than other people, so you can do it at a lower cost because you know all the problems that come up. And so then you rinse and repeat and you get really good at that. And think about it, accountants, lawyers are very specialized niches. That's really kind of what service agencies eventually we'll get into when they really scale, because they will focus on a specific service that they do better than others. And this can be around a specific problem or specific niche, but something like development or design is still very broad. So you have to understand, how are you applying that development? What kind of problem are you applying it to? If you get specific, it'll be way easier. The more things you fulfill on, the harder it is to scale. That's a big lesson. That's like, I thought it was the other way around because, I can do lots of things, I can get lots of customers. No, if you have to fulfill on 10 different offers, you need to be able to actually fulfill on 10 different offers, which is a lot more stressful, which is why I started only taking React and Node projects when before I used to do pretty much everything. So that was me taking one step into a specific niche, but then after that, I struggled to find more of an offer. And still today, I am continuing to refine that offer because I know that it is the biggest lever toward the next level. But yeah, I will, obviously speak more on it once I have more results, but I can speak from the pain that I see in my own projects and day to day. It is from handling too many different types of projects and clients that this won't scale. I can already see it. If I had more projects like this one, it won't work properly. With that said, leave any questions if you have them. I'm going to be heading off to the gym and I have a lot of work to catch up on, so I need to also plan out my next couple of videos. So yeah, drop ideas in the comments if you'd like to see any particular video, and I will reply as soon as I can.